Now, this is an edgy presentation because I want to really ruffle some feathers and get you going, because if you're bankrupt right now, if you're knee-deep in debt, if your business is on life support, pay attention. This may be your final chance to do some marketing that actually works, that's free. Now, the karmic marketing story is a very simple one. It starts with one of my mentors, and his name is Michael. And he went to Princeton. He got a presidential award with the Bush administration. He didn't travel a lot in North America. He grew up on the West Coast. He lived in Phoenix. He lived in Los Angeles, in Southern California, and then ultimately he went over to Princeton and started going to college. World-class student, and then a lot of bad things happened to him. People died in his family, and when that happens, certain things change. And he started to take his focus away from academics, and he met someone who inspired him to go to India. Now, he went to India to look up Buddhism because he was told to look up Buddhism and really get a sense of what had happened in his life and why all these disasters were happening, to give more meaning to it. That was the approach he took. Okay, he was born of Christian tradition, so he didn't even grow up with a sense of spirituality. And he went to church every single week because that's how he grew up. But he decided to go to India. He took a chance, and he asked the cab driver there, I'm looking for some Buddhists. Where can I find them? In India, in one of the main cities. I think it was Mumbai, but I'm not really sure. And the Indian from India, cab driver, looked at his watch and he said, you're about 1,000 years too late. But there are some Buddhists up in northern India. You can go check them out. There's some monasteries up there. So that's what my friend did. His name is Michael. And in a monastery called Sarah, he started to learn. And he became a monk. I mean, this is a guy from Western culture, American, and a WASP, and he turns into a monk. And he does this for 20 years. And he gets what's called a PhD in the tradition of Buddhism called Mahayana Buddhism, which is the Tibetan tradition that was introduced by a bunch of Indians over 1,000 years ago. Are you with me? It's the lineage of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who I've been very fortunate to share the same stage with, and the whole concept of compassion. Are you with me? Now, you don't have to be spiritual to believe this. The Dalai Lama exists. He's alive and well, and he believes in a few things. So when Michael came back to the United States, his teacher, his Lama, said, I want you to go into business. I saw it in a meditation. And Michael's response was, I don't know anything about business. I've been in a monastery. I've been a student. What do I know about business? He says, not only do I want you to go in business, said his teacher, I want you to go in the business of diamonds. Now, if you know something about the diamond business, it is the most impossible business to get into because it's always family run. You can walk out with $1 million worth of inventory in your pocket, right? Diamonds. So in Manhattan, there's a lot of diamond businesses, especially in the Upper East Side, in the 40s, 47th Street. If you've been to Manhattan, you know what I'm talking about. There are diamond merchants all over the place. They cut diamonds, they polish diamonds, you buy diamonds wholesale. So as a result, he found two other people. They started a business. Fast forward, he utilized a 4-step formula. Now, they purchased jewelry.com. They grew and grew and grew. There were over 10,000 employees over a decade period. He helped run it. He traveled the world buying diamonds. They got J.C. Penney as a client, and they sold millions of dollars worth of diamonds, over $100 million strong, and it got the attention of Warren Buffett. And then eventually, Warren Buffett bought the company for $250 million. Now, Warren Buffett is no slouch. He's a pretty smart guy. But what was activating the growth of this company? Michael's 4-step formula. Now, karma is not about spirituality. It's about quantum physics at the quantum level. Things you don't see. Just because things you don't see doesn't mean that those things are not there. Are you with me? You know that atoms and molecules exist. You can't see them. If a car was passing by you right now so fast that you couldn't see it because it was passing so fast, right? Is that possible? It is. Well, it's passing. Just because you didn't see it and your sense of sight didn't acknowledge that, was the car still there? Are you with me? If a tree falls in the forest, they say, if you don't hear it fall or see it fall, did it still fall? Well, it's a question, right? So at the quantum level, if you don't see something, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I just want to raise your awareness that things are happening all around you, and you can start becoming a tempest. You can start manipulate karma to your favor, and you can undo bad karma if you feel you have any. Okay, you probably heard that's bad karma, right? Well, people don't understand really what that means. I'm going to give you a new context. So there are 4 laws of karmic marketing. And this isn't the 4-step formula I'm going to teach you, but you need to know the underlying laws and principles because they are nature. They are all about natural laws. So the first law is the principle of likeness. Okay, now people call it different things. I say likeness. What does that mean? That means an apple seed, right? That's a karmic seed, flops into an apple root, to an apple trunk, to an apple tree and branches, and then apple fruit. Now, where are the apple seeds? Where are they? After the seed destroys itself to be the root, where do you find more seeds? Inside the fruit. So there's always new seeds inside fruit. That's a law of karma, and that's called the law of likeness, or the principle of likeness, because apple seeds don't turn into pear trees. Okay? Human sperm don't turn into horses or dogs. They turn into humans. So the principle of likeness means like creates like. So if you do something good, it's going to create good. Now, if something bad happens, it doesn't mean it's because you did something good. And if you do something bad and something good happens, it's not because you did something bad. That's not the root cause, or we're going to call it the seed cause in the context, right? Like, let's say someone is doing bad things, right? And you're wondering how could they be so wealthy? Cheating must cause wealth. Lying must cause wealth. That's wrong. That's not root cause. They may be doing those things, but the fact that they're getting good things is because they've done other good things. If you believe in the principle of likeness, that's only one of the 4 laws. The next law is the principle of expansion. Now, again, I don't have to prove this. A tiny little acorn turns into a giant oak. A tiny little sperm turns into a giant human being, right? So all the tiny things grow to be super big. A tiny storm turns into a hurricane, right? A little animal can turn to a giant animal. Look at a whale, right? So there's this law of expansion that little things turn into big things. A tiny pear tree, right? A tiny seed turns into a tiny pear tree, then a really big pear tree. We have giant redwoods here. Some of them are over 200 feet tall, and you can drive a car through it if you drill a hole through it, right? Those were tiny seeds at one time, 1,500 years ago. That's the law of expansion, or the principle of expansion. Now, the principle of effect. Now, this is super, super important, because what it really means, if you do something, something else will result from it. If there is a cause, something else will happen. I just had a feeling on the palms of my hands, right? That's the cause, and the effect is, ow, right? Now, if you insult someone, you may see an immediate effect. If you hug someone, you may see an immediate effect. So every cause has an effect. And I'm going to underline every cause. You are creating causes throughout your life, and they're having effects that are random. And if you notice them, you'd be shocked of how lucky and fortunate you are, right? Now, for an unwanted pregnancy, there was a cause, and the effect was the unwanted pregnancy, right? It's not nature's fault. The intention was confused with the outcome. Am I making sense? That's 3 laws. Let's go for one more. The principle of accountability. Now, where does accountability come from? Well, originally in this lifetime, it was coined by the Roman Senate. I missed my quotations there. Accountability is the ability to be accounted for. So when a Roman senator in Rome, I actually visited Rome, and I was there where the senators used to stand up and say, "I'm here," right? Well, when they were taking a vote, they first had to be accounted for to see who was there. You know, in our own Senate in the United States, not everyone shows up, right? And you need people to show up to have a quorum, right? And in order to have a quorum, you get to vote and you pass laws or you pass bills. Well, in Rome, you know, it was supposed to be a democracy, but I doubt it was that because there were certain causes that led to effects. Cheating, backstabbing, literally. Think of Caesar, Julius Caesar, right? Treason, all these things caused effects, such as the fall of the Roman Empire. Now, was it one cause? No, multiple causes. It takes about 3,000 redwood seeds to create one redwood. So there are a lot of things that are lost. But Every cause has an effect. That's called accountability. Every cause is accounted for. Now, here's the other thing about accountability, is if you don't take action, then nothing can happen. There is no impact if action is not taken. So if you don't make a sales call, how are you going to make a sale? See, people say, if I'm doing good things, then good karma will bring me sales, but I don't like to sell. I don't like rejection. I don't like having a conversion process, but I'm going to do other good things, and as a result, I'll get sales. No, it doesn't work that way. It's about accountability. If you don't do the thing that's going to produce the result that you want, because every result can be reverse engineered into a cause, and that's what I'm teaching you today. Each cause has an effect associated with it. Good to good, bad to bad, right? Seed to root, to trunk, to branches, to fruit. And where are the other seeds? Inside the fruit. The fruit has to rot and die, and the seeds come out and plant new ones. Are you with me? Cause and effect. A honeybee. If honeybees didn't exist, we wouldn't be around on Earth. What do honeybees do? They go and they kind of like put their butt in flowers, and that's called pollination. Well, how do flowers have sex? Honeybees. If you ask flowers, hey, how do you multiply? They go, I don't know. But if it weren't for the honeybee, who's doing it for another reason, to bring back honey to the hive, to the queen bee, right? The mother rules the roost there, right? Well, when the honeybee's doing that, there's a little bit of pollen that falls to the ground. The wind, another cause, spreads it, and then you have a field of flowers. Now, that is one of the cycles on Earth. And if it weren't for the honeybee, if they were extinct, we'd be in deep, deep trouble. All right, so those are the 4 laws. Now, there's always disappointment with karma and in business and in quantum physics, but it's not karma's fault. Karma is only a function of what you do or what you don't do.